What's your dream? What do you really, really want to do? You want to be a curator? Open up a small gallery in an old burrito factory. You want to be a mother? Get fucking pregnant.
Oh my God.
Turn this potential energy into kinetic energy. Stop being a cartographer and become an explorer. What do you really want to do? What's your dream? Stop thinking. Just tell me. What is it?
Just yell it out.
What are you feeling? What's inside of you? Just tell me. Don't think.
I want to sing.
What's the second thing you want to do?
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Girls. We're just two boys watching HBO's Girls. We are your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I'm Vance.
And today we have an episode, everybody. We are on Season 2, Episode 8, overall Episode 18. This one is titled, It's Back. Very ominous. I remember last episode we were trying to guess what "it's back" would mean, and boy, did it have a meaning.
I'm bad at all the guesses. Every time I guess what a title episode is, it's never. I don't know why. I shouldn't do it anymore, but I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, we're usually way off on our guesses.
So far off.
But this one's directed by Jesse Peretz, written by Lena Dunham, Steve Rubinstein?
Steen?
I don't know, it's spelled weird. And Deborah Shoneman. Original air date March 3rd, 2013. 673,000 viewers.
All
0.673 million. Pretty big jump up from the last one.
Yeah.
Last one I think was the lowest watched episode. So this is a pretty big step up.
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts on this episode, Vancifer?
There's a lot. But I think we just entered the downfall of Shoshanna.
Yep.
Our favorite character. I think she's officially become one of the girls.
Yes, she has.
Yeah.
I liked this episode a lot more than the last one. The last one I was very much like, this fucking was awful, and so much of the stuff didn't make sense to me. But this was like classic Girls to me.
Yeah, you got all the characters, just throwing people in.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why I liked it was because there was no Jessa.
There's mention of her, but there's no physical.
Yeah, there's no sighting.
Do you know how much time has passed between the last episode and this one? Because I have no concept of how long.
I have no idea either. Because they're talking about Jessa, well, Shoshanna is. She's worried, and Marnie is kind of worried about it. But, they're like, we don't know where Jessa is. She could be anywhere. It's like...
Yeah, Shoshanna's really freaking out about it. Let's dive into this episode so we can unpack some of this.
How are we going to do it? Are we going to go character by character?
I think we can on this one, yeah.
Yeah, I think we can too.
Yeah.
I think that we could replace Jessa's character arc with Adam.
Yeah, I kind of did that in my notes.
Because, spoiler alert, Adam's back.
Adam's back.
A welcome return.
But he's not the it in the title.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
All right, who do you want to start off with?
Ooh, I want to flip a four-sided coin. Dude, let's just go right into Shoshanna.
Okay.
Let's just do it.
This is the most disappointing thing that I've seen in this show. I was very upset about this, and I was like, wow. You took the one good thing about this show, and you just shit it all over it.
I did say that too much Shoshanna would be a problem, just the way she rants and raves a bit, and how she just goes on long spiels.
I agree with you. We liked it, but we were only getting Shoshanna in doses.
Yeah.
And I think that this was probably the most Shoshanna heavy episode that we've seen.
And she only had 3 scenes? 4 scenes maybe?
Yeah, right. And then I was like, oh, I understand why.
Yeah. You don't want all. Yeah.
They can't lean too heavily into the Shoshanna.
Yeah.
But
unless she makes the turn.
Yeah. Okay, so we start off, Shoshanna's story starts off with her, Ray, and Marnie walking in Washington Square Park. Shoshanna's very worried about Jessa. She's saying about how, like, hey, she could be anywhere. We don't know where she is, and I'm worried about her, and I don't know if anybody else is worried about her. And it would make sense that she would be worried about her. That's her cousin.
Yeah.
And Marnie, we kind of fold Marnie in here a little bit, but Marnie's like, oh, she always, classic Marnie. She starts trashing her when she's not around.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
She's
it's
like,
interesting because these are all roommates too. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
why are these three walking together? And I was like, oh, they all live in this studio dorm. Like, I don't know.
I forgot. For some reason, I thought that Shoshanna and Ray broke up or they were upset at each other or something.
No,
we
remember-
haven't seen her in a while, so I was like, wait, what?
No,
happened
remember
here?
it was so she was surprised to find out that they lived together, that he was living
Yeah.
with her. Then she said she loved him in the subway station.
Mhm.
Then he went on his adventure with Adam,
And
then stared off across the river, and then
yeah.
and I think that's about it.
Yeah,
more or
he's been kind of
less.
absent recently, so I was just like, oh, I guess Ray isn't a thing anymore.
No, I knew he was still going to be a part of it because, well, who knows with this show? Like, you would think that
Exactly.
he would see the breakup, but
Yeah.
like, I'm just confused as how long Jess has been missing.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, so they're walking in the park. Marnie peels off because she heard about some updates about her ex-beau, Charlie, which we'll get into later.
Well, they bring it up to her, like, in this scene,
Yeah.
as if they didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah. Shoshanna breaks the news to Marnie that Charlie has sold an app. He created an app and he sold it, and he's super rich now. And then Marnie's kind of like, huh, interesting, and then peels off, and you just know where that's going.
Yeah.
But anyway, so once Marnie goes on her own little side quest, Shoshanna's friend, Radhika, shows up, roller skating, who knows? And she invites Shoshanna and Ray to a party.
She calls it her impromptu.
I thought that she said improv 2
I did
party.
too. At first,
And
I
was
said
like,
that, and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to see this scene."
Yeah, I was
Even
going to
though
say,
I've
I don't
done
want to
improv,
watch.
I just didn't want to watch it.
Watching improv that's not live is awful.
Okay, speaking of, have you tried to watch the Middle Ditch and Schwartz thing on Netflix?
I saw it on there, and it did not interest. I hate Thomas Middleditch.
Okay, is it because
So
you guys have the same type of like height and?
Yeah, I think that I am a good-looking person, and I don't think that he's a good-looking person. But then I see him, and I see similarities in our look, and I'm like, oh no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll like look at a picture of him, I'll be like, oh, that kind of looks like me, and then I'll realize it's Thomas Middleditch, and I'll be like, fuck.
So it's too much insecurity and positivity in that.
Well, I also just don't
Yeah.
find him funny. I don't like his like meek type of thing
Yeah.
where it's I don't know. I can't get into it. But so yeah, she's throwing, her friend Radhika's throwing an improv. What is it?
Impromptu.
Impromptu party.
Yeah.
And she rolls away, and Ray is like, yeah, we are not fucking going to that party.
Yeah. At first, I wasn't sure why he was saying it.
Yeah, me neither.
But then his explanation is 100%.
Yeah, it's such a tight explanation as to why he doesn't want to go. And his reason being why he doesn't want to go to the party is because, quote, not really quote, but I guess I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, I'm a 33-year-old man. It'd be weird as fuck for me to show up to a college party.
Yeah.
Like, he says it's weird. He thinks it's weird if a senior shows up to a college party.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's true. That makes a lot of sense. I thought it was just being kind of a dickhead,
Yeah, I
like he
did too.
normally is.
Like, I thought he was like, not with this girl. This.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, not
well,
two of you. Yeah. But
well, it's
no.
also Jessa's freaking out a little bit because her friend Radhika's.
You mean Shoshanna?
Like,
you mean Shoshanna?
Yeah. Shoshanna's freaking out a bit because Radhika's like, "Where have you been? I haven't seen you all summer." Oh, it's because you got a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And Shoshanna doesn't want to be the person that disappears into a relationship, basically.
Well, she says that her biggest fear is that someone thinks she's dead when she's not.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that's
It plays in with her worry about Jessa, I guess. So it's on brand for her.
She thinks going to this party will prove to everyone that she's alive. It's been a summer. Why would you see anyone during the summer when you're in college? Like, you don't, everyone goes away.
Yeah.
Like, summer's a random time in college. So
also, you have Facebook. You're probably updating that.
Yeah, whatever.
People know that you're alive.
But this is the first little chink in the armor for
the relationship.
The relationship and Shoshanna as a character.
Yeah. So Ray is like, hey, well, you can go to the party, but I'm not fucking going to the party because it'd be weird.
Yeah.
And then she's like, fine, I will go to the party. And he's like, all right, have a good time. See ya.
She should just be able to go to the party and be fine. She should be able to be, independent enough to not have to go to the party with Ray.
She should also understand his reasoning.
Yeah.
Like, it's not...
But that reasoning he can't keep doing it every time if they're going to date throughout her college. Like, he's going to have to go out to some events with her, and they will all be college related unless they're with the girls.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like it. Yeah.
And how old is Shoshanna? She's 21. So
21.
So she should be a senior in college at this point, right?
Yeah, but yeah, unless she did like a gap year, which seems like something that they would do, like these girls,
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah. So Shoshanna leaping way, way, way far ahead in this episode. Like, we lose track of Shoshanna for about like 15 minutes.
I was wondering if we were going to go back to her, or if this would be like the date thing when she had the online date that she was talking about. We never saw it.
Yeah. Yeah. But we do come back to her, and she goes to the party. The doorman, he comes in, he's like, she walks in, she's wearing a dress. The dress looks good. Side ponytail, awful.
Yeah,
terrible.
I wrote that down. I was like, it reminded me of Napoleon Dynamite, the girl.
Yes.
She does the side ponytail.
Yes.
It's like hair got blown out of the side of your head.
It's not even a side ponytail. It's like a side braid. And it's just, Joe's Fashion Corner here, bad. Just bad looking. Dress looks good. She looks good. So she goes to the party. Doorman's like, hey, who are you here to see? She's like, I'm here to go to my friend Radhika's. And he's like, oh, yeah, she's a party girl. Go ahead.
Yeah, when he said party girl, I was like, is this going to be some type of like sex party prostitution thing? Party girl has a lot of connotations. Like,
that's what I was thinking. I was like, uh-oh, party girl. Like, this is going to be
dressed
like...
in the red dress. Is she showing up and thinking she's going to be like one of the working girls at this party? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was thinking it was more in like drugs everywhere. Yeah. So I was like, uh-oh, this could be not...
I was ready for
it would seem like I was thinking it might be like that warehouse party that they were at when everybody, like, when she saw Adam and like when Hannah saw Adam and like learned things about him. Yeah. Finally. But no, it just seemed like it was a regular housewarming party, but it was fancy as fuck. Like, everything there was fancy. This girl was rich.
You mean everything we saw from that, like, basically one shot?
Yeah.
Like, she had. It's literally just her on the couch. There's.
It looked really fancy.
Sliders and like there's champagne everywhere. Like, dude, it looks. It's a great like they got a doorman. The elevator probably opens up into the apartment. Like, it's a nice setup.
Yeah, it looks really nice. But I'm just saying, like, I've never been to a party where there are just sliders on a serving plate. Like a multi-tiered serving plate. So that's why I was like, ooh, this is fancy.
That's your definition of fancy.
That's my baseline for fancy. Sliders. On a serving platter.
There was a bag of shrimp on the table. I was like, this is it.
God, I'm an ass.
Wow, you got to get out, man. You got to step up your...
I know. I got to get invited to more fancy shit. Hey, if you're listening to this and you have some fancy shit going on, you have parties with sliders, hit me up on Instagram at Joe Welke.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Shoshanna's like blabbing this fucking lady's ear off.
Did you pay attention to it? Because I got to a point where I just zoned out and
Yeah, and that's exactly where Radhika was.
Yeah.
Radhika had zoned her out, totally bored by her conversation with Shoshanna. I also kind of zoned out. She was talking basically about, how she doesn't want to be the person that disappears into a relationship. So she never wants to do that. And then she also kind of got into a thing of if I have kids, I don't want to have to take care of them. Like I'm taking care of Ray or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. And Radhika's eyes are just glazed over. Yeah, because they cut to her and she's got her hand on her temple and she's been listening to this for probably 5 minutes before we even get into it. Yeah, probably 5 minutes straight. Yeah, straight. I don't think Shoshanna's stopping to breathe. No, she's not going. And she's like, oh, adulthood, maybe parent. Oh, this would be great. And then it's just I'm surprised that Radhika didn't make up a fake excuse and left. It seemed like something really did happen and she went to take care of it. It didn't seem like she was what? Is someone calling? I gotta go. Yeah. It was man. And the weird part is we don't know much about her relationship with Radhika. She was happy to see her in Washington Square Park. I believe that's where they were. And she was happy to see her. So you're oh, cool. These girls are friends in college. Then it's they're at the party and Radhika's I'm done with you. But I don't think Shoshanna has changed over the... I feel like it was one of those things where Radhika saw her and was oh, I'm friends with her. I haven't seen her in a long time. Why haven't I seen her? And then when she was at the party, she was oh, right. This is that girl. This is that girl, yeah. This is the girl that will fucking talk your ear off and with no consideration for if you care or not. Yeah. And now I'm getting why the other girls might not invite her out as much. Yeah, I wouldn't invite her out that much either. Maybe Marnie was right not to invite her to Booth Jonathan's party. Yeah. So then Radhika leaves, and then Shoshanna's just kind of left there being well, I don't really like being here if I can't blabber to somebody. Yeah, I was I thought she might mingle around the party, see somebody. No. I don't know. No mingling, nothing. She just was oh, my one friend that's here abandoned me. I'm leaving this party. We can't pick up a conversation later. It's just going to be, it's just one and done. Yep. So she gets up, she leaves, she's walking out, and the doorman stops her, and he's hey, is the party over? What's the deal? What's going on? She's yeah, I'm just thinking I'm not really a party person. And he's yeah, me neither. And I was oh boy, this guy's trying to mac. Yeah, he was macking since she walked in. Yeah. So he's yeah, I'm not really a party person either. I go to clubs. He goes, you look familiar. Maybe I saw you at a club or something. She's yeah, maybe. I go to clubs sometimes. And he goes, well, you're beautiful. And she's thanks. What? Me? Gee, thanks. And then she says, classic Shoshanna line. She's well, I hope that this isn't offensive to you, but you're really hot for a doorman. And he's thank you. Yeah. And then fucking... Is that offensive? That's offensive. I don't know. Is it offensive? Is it offensive? It implies that being a doorman means you can't... he can't... A doorman's not a pretty person job. Marnie couldn't be a doorman. You know what I mean? Why couldn't you be... I don't know. I don't think it's... I have that joke in my act about how... in LA, there's so many beautiful people that you see them in places you don't expect. I saw a hot guy working at Burger King, and my whole bit was basically hot people shouldn't have those jobs. So I kind of see where Shoshanna's coming from. Most doormen in New York are old people. Older, but you do end up with the younger, trending towards this is just my summer job. This is a between job kind of doorman people, but. Whatever. I would say the youngest doorman that I saw in New York was probably late 30s. Okay. And that was only one. The rest of them were just kind of older people. How old do you think this doorman is? This doorman's probably 25. Okay. if I were to guess his age. Well, how old do you think he is?
Around that, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, smash cut to them.
We missed something. When he asked her what her name is, she doesn't say Shoshanna.
Oh,
she goes
yeah,
Shoshanna. And he goes, oh, that's unique. I've never heard it. Is that Muslim?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I just was like, okay. That's the most awkward question looking at Shoshanna. And
well, I couldn't tell if she wanted to disguise her name or what.
Yeah.
Or if it was just like she was awkward and
it's not
taken
like
aback
Ray was
by how
ever come back to that place.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't understand what was going on there. I didn't know if she was just like awkwardly, her breath was taken away by how hot this doorman was, or if she was trying to like cover herself or something.
Yeah.
But then they smash cut to them hooking up in the mail room. Mm-hmm. And that's when I saw that happen. I was like, man.
Yeah.
Sadness.
It was weird. It's like she's never been approached by an attractive man before.
Right.
Like,
she's an attractive woman.
Yeah. She went from like not losing her virginity to like everybody just like, yeah, she's going to hook up with a ton of people.
Yeah. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed. Because that basically wraps up her story. She's like, she was talking to the doorman, but I couldn't really pay attention to what she was saying because I was so like disappointed.
It was something about like, do you need to watch the door? What happens if you don't watch it?
Oh, yeah.
Someone comes in, they'll walk around, it's fine. He grabs food.
Yeah.
They make out more.
Yeah. Does everybody in this show need to talk while they're hooking up with people?
If you're not going to get naked, you have to talk.
I fucking hate that shit, dude. Hannah, every time we see her hooking up, she's like going on some monologue. Marnie, I think, was talking a couple times.
Yeah, when she quote unquote hooked up with Elijah.
She was
like, yeah, I mean, it's just what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
all right.
That wraps up Shoshanna.
Who do you want to move to next? Should we do Hannah? Should we do Marnie? Should we do Adam? What do you want to do? Who do you want to save for last? How about we do that? Who do you want to save?
Who do I want to save for last? I guess Hannah. She's the most important central character in this show.
All right.
I said we go Adam next, because he's been away for a while.
All right.
Yeah, we gotta get a checkup on Adam.
Yeah, let's check up on our boy Adam.
So Adam actually opened this episode. He's like, it looks like he's drinking sour milk or some shit. Like,
yeah. And the first thing I thought, I was like, it doesn't look. I was like, last time I saw him in that shot, it looked like it was when he was like peeing into like the pot or something.
Yeah.
From that angle, and I was like, did he just drink piss? And it's like all white, so it looks like rotted milk or something. I don't know. I was like, I don't know what he's drinking right now.
Yeah, it opens up with him laying on his back in bed, and just kind of rolls over, drinks something from a mason jar that looks like milk, kind of. I don't know, and he just like throws it up because it's disgusting, and then he's kind of just looking around. And then he calls Hannah, I guess because he's lonely. And I don't know, I'm feeling for Adam in this episode. Like, he's got a lot of feels going on.
Well, they make him they do a good job of making him a person when they need to.
Yeah.
Like, when they need him to be a person, they make him a person. When they need him to be the weirdest, creepiest thing, he is. So he's the most conflicting. Like, I still think everyone should stay away from him just because of his bipolarness as a character, but he's acknowledging that his weirdness, which is something Hannah doesn't do in this episode. She doesn't acknowledge her problem, and he is the opposite, where he's fully acknowledging that he's weird. Like,
yeah. I agree. I don't know. I just really liked Adam in this episode. I thought this was a good story for him, and he came off as charming, and like, he's working on shit. Like, Adam, for as weird as he is, he seems like he's got his priorities, his values together. Mm-hmm. You know, like, he knows what he's doing, and he knows how to get to what he wants.
Yeah.
So it seems like he's taking control of some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of taking control, the next time we see him is he's in an AA meeting, which is, you know, a big part of his life, according to that one lady from the warehouse party that Hannah didn't know.
Taco,
yeah.
with a K.
So he's at an AA meeting. There's a guy at the front who's leading the meeting. He's talking about how, like, oh, I'm always the one that brings the cookies, and so other people should bring the cookies. And then Adam jolts up, and he's like, I guess that he hasn't spoken while he was at this meeting yet. Yeah. And he's like, you know, you can tell he's nervous and he doesn't want to admit it. And you know,
he hasn't gone to a meeting in a while.
Yeah, but it's like he knows that he needs to do this. So he's just like jolts up at the very end of the meeting. He's like, I'm Adam and I'm an alcoholic. And everyone's kind of like, oh, hi, Adam. And then he goes through his story about how he's like, I've been sober since I was 17. I had a problem with alcohol. And I didn't have like too great of a problem, but I could see where it was going. So I felt like I should stop while I'm ahead and go to meetings and stuff and get help.
Which is big at 17.
Yeah, dude. That's a very mature decision, man.
Yeah. Like... It's not a problem until he had the problem before he was legally able to drink.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder what kind of shit he was getting into when he was 17, because he's doing some wild shit now.
Yeah.
You know, do we know how old Adam is?
No, we don't really.
Yeah, I don't think that's been said in this show yet. But anyway, he's been sober since 17, and he says that he's like been feeling really stable about it, and he felt like he didn't need to go to meetings as much, so he kind of tapered off on doing that. And but recently he went through a breakup, and he's been feeling less stable because he's been upset about it. And yeah, that's basically it. And then he goes over, like, you know, Hannah, he doesn't say her name, but he's like, this girl, I didn't even really think of her as anything before. She just seemed like kind of a piece of ass to me. But then I kept like, she came over and I taught her a bunch of things, and then she kind of weaseled her way into being in a relationship.
Soap for some reason.
Yeah, he said he taught her how to use soap. I was like, how does... But then it was also like...
Yeah. I mean, it was there for comedy, but yeah.
Yeah. That was a two-pronged joke for me, where it was like, Adam is so egotistical that he thinks he's showing someone how to use soap.
Yeah.
But also, I could totally see Hannah not knowing exactly how soap should be used. Like, I could see her using soap in the wrong way somehow.
I don't know. What
you know what I'm saying?
Could possibly be the wrong way? I know, but I get your point. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, he could probably show her a better way to use soap. Like, if she has like shower gel and she's just putting it in her hand, I could see him being like, "What are you fucking doing? Get a loofah or something."
Get a loofah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I took from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he's like, and you know what? I'll fucking bring the cookies next time. I don't like cookies, so I'll probably bring the wrong shit. So I'm sorry, but I'll bring them.
Yeah.
And then the meeting ends, and the guy's like, all right, Adam's bringing the cookies.
And in this meeting, Carol Kane, I don't know if we get her name, but Carol Kane is in the meeting. She's from Kimmy Schmidt. She's like the landlord and Kimmy Schmidt, and I guess
her name in this, I think her name is this is the old lady, right?
Yeah.
I think her name is Cloris in this.
Mm.
I believe it's Cloris.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter
until we see her next episode.
Yeah, until none of this story ever comes up again.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So Cloris comes up to him after the meeting, and she's like, "Hey, I like you. You got moxie, kid." Basically, she's like,
"You're tall. You're tall." Basically, that's what it is.
She's like, "You're tall. How tall are you? 6'2"? And he's like, 6'3". She's like, "That's a good height." And she's like, "I really liked how honest you were in there." Mm-hmm. But she's saying this in like a very crazy voice, which is like, well,
that's her
funny.
Like that's her voice.
I know, but it's funny. It's a funny voice. Yeah. And then she's like, "You know what? I like you. You're tall. I like your look. I want to set you up with my daughter or granddaughter or whatever."
I think she says daughter.
Daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's her daughter. But the physical traits didn't match up.
No, not at all.
But
not at
whatever.
all.
Yeah.
But so she's like, "I want to set you up with my daughter Natalia."
Yeah.
And Adam's like, "No." Which for some reason, I thought that was so funny when I was watching. I was like, that's fucking hilarious. That he's like, oh, thank you. No.
Yeah. But the way he said it with a smile, too. It's like really, it's like he seems like really happy with this exchange that he's having. Like he just finds it hilarious that this lady is like trying to peddle this lady to him. Like he doesn't seem like he's not angry at her. He's not like off put. He's kind of just like taking it all in.
Yeah, he's kind of entertaining the conversation.
Yeah.
Where he's like, no, I don't think that you should hook me up with your daughter. But the lady is just like, no, I'm setting you up with my daughter. You got a phone, right? I'll give her your phone number. Here's her number. Call her or whatever.
You got a phone? Yeah, I got a phone.
It was great.
Yeah.
I really like that scene. That was a good scene.
They really let him round out his acting in this. You know, like he didn't have he was able to play just like a person. Which he
wasn't as weird. Like he was still weird, but he wasn't as weird. You know.
Yeah.
But I loved the compliment she gave him. She said that you're cuter than a dimple on a bug's butt or something. And he's like, thanks. You know, it's like one of those old lady compliments that you're just like, oh, thank you. That's so nice of you. But so she gives him her daughter's number. Her daughter's name is Natalia. Mm-hmm. And dude, as soon as she said Natalia, I knew that this chick was going to be hot. I've never met a woman named Natalia that isn't hot.
Yeah, I think I've only met one or two.
Yeah. That's just a hot name. That's a hot lady name.
Do you think the name makes the girl hot, or that she, like, because her name's Natalia, she has to grow up to be hot? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you name someone like
Boris.
Yeah.
If you name someone Boris, there's definitely going to be like a henchman in the Russian mafia.
Yeah, like if you name someone a certain thing, are they just going to end up like conforming to that name?
I think that it's one of those things where it's like if you're named, you know, there's just like hot people names. Mm-hmm. You know,
like if you're named Bertha, right?
Yeah, you're not going to be hot.
Like, can you overcome that name to be hot?
I can't think of any hot Berthas.
I don't know a lot of Berthas.
What do you think is a hot name for a lady?
What do I think is a hot name for a lady?
Yeah.
I mean, geez, I don't know. Like we're talking about Natalia. Any of the ones that have that like European or like South American, like
yeah.
I mean, yeah. But like Veronica's are like an interesting one because that kind of gives you like that like femme fatale.
Yeah, if Veronica is spelled with a C, I think that you're less hot. If it's spelled with a K, then you're hotter.
But you also might be like a deadly spy assassin.
Yeah. Veronica with a K is definitely a femme fatale.
Yeah.
And it's pronounced Veronica or something.
She's got those like sticks in her hair to keep her hair in place, but they're actually like blades. You know?
Yeah. They look like chopsticks, but she takes them out and can fucking gut you with them.
Yeah, she practices throwing knives at home when she's bored.
Yeah. So anyway, she gives Adam Natalia's phone number, and Adam is at his home. His home is so interesting to me. His apartment. He just has like a ladder in there for some reason.
He just has stuff.
Yeah. He's like always working on something like woodwork or something.
But we don't know what he does for work.
Yeah, no. I have no idea. Yeah. Because he was in a play, he does woodwork, and he's always shirtless.
His grandmother gives him $500, I guess. No.
This is the most clothed that we've seen Adam.
Yes, he has a shirt on
except for maybe
the opening scene.
Except for maybe Jessa's wedding where he's clothed the whole time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's shirtless in the opening scene, but then the rest of the time he's got clothes on.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't think Adam Driver's an attractive person. But for some reason in this episode where I guess the clothes just fit him nicely, that I was like, okay, he looks attractive in this episode to me.
No, he's a unique looking guy.
Yeah.
And it works. Like he has, it's that like actory it factor thing. Like he can
there's
be
like a magnetism.
Yeah, he's not like your traditional heartthrob. Like he's not one of the Chris's, Pine or Hemsworth
Evans.
or whatever, or Evans. But like he has this like look that's so different, and you just kind of stare at him, and you're like, are you hot or are you like? It's one of those things you can look at him forever and not come to a conclusion. Like you'll enjoy looking at it and trying to figure it out.
You'll like look. It's like a puzzle.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle. It's like that crossword. You just like, I know I'm so close to getting it, and it's got to be one of these vials, and it's not. But yeah, so he calls. I'm surprised he did it. He actually like called.
I'm surprised too.
Yeah, he calls.
Yeah, he calls her up.
Yeah.
All I wrote for this scene is Adam calls Natalia is pretty charming.
Yeah.
He's like having kind of the awkward kind of. He doesn't know how to talk to this girl because he never met her. He's leaving her a voicemail. Yeah, and he's like, hey, it's Adam. Your mom gave me your phone number, told me to call you. So this is why I'm calling you. And if you'd like to go out sometime, I don't know, blah, 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 whatever. And then the girl picks up and is like, oh, holy fuck, this is a landline?
That was great.
Yeah, that was a great moment.
Yeah.
And then, dude, he has so many great moments in this episode.
Well, he says like, they set up the date. He's like, oh, you'll know me. I'm tall. And I stand out. And he's like, and I'm big. I'm going to probably be staring at you because I'm a big weirdo.
Yeah, he was like, your mom told me that you have nice teeth. So I'm going to be looking at your teeth or staring at you to see because like a creep.
Like a creep, yeah.
And then he's like, all right, sounds good. Let's set it up. And then he hangs up the phone and does the typical, I hated this, but he does the typical...
recap.
I'll be staring at you like a creep. What am I saying? Yeah. Kind of thing. Like, I hate that. That's in like so many movies and like rom-coms.
They're like, oh, you idiot. What did you say? Yeah. That's like if Shoshanna walked out of the building and then leaned against the side of the building. It was like, Shauna, come on.
Yeah.
You know your name. Like they just talk to themselves like so blatantly. But yeah, they go on this, they go to this date. They go to this restaurant, right? And
it looks like a fancy kind of restaurant.
I love Adam just doing what he did at the beginning.
Yep.
They got the folded napkins on the table and they're like kind of up like triangles, pyramid type things, and he just leans over it and like picks one up with his mouth and just starts swinging it. And I was like, I love it.
Yeah, it was a fantastic moment.
Like I think you could have a whole episode where you just watch Adam in a waiting room.
Yeah, I wish that they had like an Adam goes out into town.
Well, they kind of did that with him and
Ray.
And Ray.
Their buddy cop movie type of thing.
Yeah.
That was a good episode.
Yeah.
I liked this episode.
This episode's well done. It's got pieces we're moving around between characters. It feels like a regular half an hour. Yeah. This isn't a sitcom. It's a dramedy, but it has that vibe of, here's your stories. Here's your A, B, C. Yeah.
So a super fucking hot lady walks in. Mm-hmm. And she's looking at Adam, and she just points to him, and she's like, "Are you Adam?" And he looks at her, and he's just kind of the look on his face was like, "You got to be kidding me!" Like, yeah. And he stands up.
I thought he was gonna say something super weird when he stood up.
Dude, what he did say was fantastic. Yeah. Because she walks up to him, and she's like, "Adam," and he just goes, "Holy fucking shit!"
And then she goes, "I love my mom."
Yeah.
So at that point, like, wow, they don't even have to have dinner. They're just in already.
It's on.
Yeah. So they both think each other are hot.
Yeah, they both think they're hot.
She met him in AA, so he's already got his shit together.
Yeah. I wonder if her mom told Natalia where she met him, because that would break the laws.
Has your mom ever set you up with anyone?
My mom is. There have been people that I knew that my mom liked, and she was like, "You should go out with that person." But it was never anyone that I would ever be interested in.
And she's never found a random person on the street and given your number to them?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No. Oh, actually, you know what? My cousin's. So I was at my cousin's wedding, and his wife's stepfather saw me, and he was like, "Hey, I think you'd be great for my daughter. She lives." This is when I was still in New York, and he was like, "She lives in New York too. I'm gonna give her your number or whatever. Tell her to reach out." I've had that, but I've never had my mom do anything.
Yeah, I've never had my mom do anything like that either.
Yeah, I think that my mom knows to be like kind of hands off with that kind of.
I wouldn't even know what to do with that information.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah, the most I've had was
I can't remember.
The most I had was my buddy that set me up when I mentioned that time I went to Staten Island with that girl.
Yeah.
That was like the most blind date hookup situation I've had. Like that.
Yeah. Like my mom's boss tried to hook me up with like his niece or something.
Yeah.
And but that just never worked out.
Yeah, it's really weird for someone to meet someone that they haven't known and then set you up with them. You know what I mean?
You know where I think that this is more common? I think that Jewish people do this more.
They do it in an episode of Frasier that I liked, where he's out for people that love Frasier, where he's out shopping for a gift for Roz.
Check out our other podcast, Frasier Times. I don't know, we haven't come up with a title. Frasier Times.
Kevin Smith was doing a Frasier podcast for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, but no, like
so much for Frasier Times.
To finish it up, there's a scene where he's buying a gift for someone, and then like she sets him up with someone, and she thinks he's Jewish because he had a menorah, or he was looking for a menorah for his son who's half Jewish, and like so she set him up with their, whatever. It's all like sitcom hiding this stuff. Yeah, it's a pretty good episode though.
Yeah, I wrote a joke, but I never told it on stage. I don't think it's like
we'll get back to the show soon though.
Yeah, sorry everybody. We were going off on a little tangent here about Frasier and my bits. But it was like, I know that I'm the problem because none of my friends have tried to hook me up with any one of their friends. Like I've never had a friend be like, "Hey, I think that you should go out with my friend blah blah blah."
Yeah.
Like that is a sign that like I need to get some shit together or stop being such a douche.
I feel like my wife would try to set you up for stuff, but like I would never set you up for anything.
Yeah, I feel like she would. Yeah. Your wife would try to set me up with somebody, or she'd like
I'd
do
a
suggestion.
I would like, don't do that.
I don't think that your wife would specifically be like, "Here's this person's number," but she would arrange plans where both me and the person of interest would be in the same spot,
and then she would needle me for information if you did go on it. So so we'd have to talk about something we never talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, sorry everybody.
This is the worst podcast we've done so far.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes.
Like what's funny is like this might be the worst one that we've done, but I liked this episode. Yeah. Like the last one we did, I hated that episode, and I feel like that episode is probably better than this one.
So if you want to get back to the episode, skip to this time.
Yeah, we need to like timestamp some shit.
Yeah. So let's just finish off Adam. He's at this date. They're talking. They're having a good time. She mentions that she's a decoy for a distraction for like she works for a private detective, and like sometimes she's the hot girl that goes in to distract people so he can sneak in.
Which seems right up Adam's alley. This girl really is like the perfect girl for him.
And I would be intrigued. I'm like, oh, so you literally work for a private detective? Like that stuff's so cool.
That's amazing. Yeah. I was like, dude, this is awesome. And even Adam was like, this is fucking great.
Yeah, Natalia is a femme fatale. That's what she is.
Yeah, dude. Natalia rules. And I'm happy for Adam because it seems like the date was like going super well. Yeah.
Too bad we'll never see her again, though.
I know, right? Or we won't see Adam again for like 5 or 6 episodes.
Yeah. We're getting close to the finale, man. Of the season.
Of the season? Yeah, that's true.
We only got 2 more.
Yeah. So Adam's basically like, yeah, this was a great date. Like, you're really easy to talk to, and I like this. Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah, I'm glad that my mom set me up. And then Adam's just like, yeah, your mom fucking rules.
Yeah. And they're just getting along and hitting it off, and it's great.
Yeah. And I'm really not looking forward to Hannah showing up and fucking everything up for Adam.
Yeah, you know it's coming.
You know it's going to happen.
I wasn't even thinking about that. You're so right.
Hannah's somehow she's going to call him, and then he's going to be with Natalia, and she's going to be like, who's Hannah? He's like, oh, there's some girl that I dated. And then she's going to keep calling him, and Natalia's going to be like, who's this girl that keeps calling you? Like, why didn't you break up with her? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, look, it's over.
Hey,
and then
Joe, you don't have to spoil the rest of the season.
Dude, I just know that this is, or Adam's going to be super fucking weird and do some of his weird shit and ruin it. But I foresee it more being a Hannah thing.
Yeah. But I think that's pretty much it for Adam, though. Like,
yeah, that wraps up Adam.
It's like so Adam got Shoshanna's making out with a guy. He's got a new date. Like, relationship stuff are going great.
Yeah.
And then we got Marnie.
Not so great for Shoshana and Ray, but
yeah,
I'm happy for Adam in this episode. Like, he's a weirdo.
I'm still
and he's
fearful for this girl. I'm still fearful for this girl because he's still a weirdo.
He's a weirdo, and he does some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
I don't think Natalia is going to enjoy being peed on in the shower.
No. But maybe he's past that? I don't know.
Maybe. Who knows? Maybe he's like, oh, this is a real regular girl. I need to, like, tone down my Adamness.
Maybe it was like, Hannah doesn't know what soap is. Let's see if she knows what this is.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to Marnie, because I got lots to say about this.
Me too.
Yeah.
I know.
So we mentioned earlier that they were walking with Shoshana and Ray, and then for some reason they just blurt out to her. Did Shoshana blurt it out, or I think Ray might have just said, "Oh yeah, Charlie." One of them was like, "Oh yeah, Charlie sold his app. He's got a business and an office with like 11 employees or whatever.
He's got a corner office, and he sold his app for a buttload of money."
Okay, one, why bring that up? Because you know it's Marnie. Two, and they bring it up apropos of nothing. And then two, how much time has passed?
I don't know.
How much time has passed that he has sold an app?
He created an app, sold it,
and then has an office and he has. Like, I just don't know the timeline, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know how quickly the app world works, but I would think it'd be a bit more than that.
Get an office space, I'm sure. Like, it doesn't have to take that long, but it seems like it would have.
This seems like it was like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And also, can we just take a second and marvel at how fucking talented Charlie is? That guy is
I didn't even know he was
amazing.
working on apps. I didn't know what he did.
No, he like built in like one of the first episodes of the show. He's like building something for Marnie.
A table or something, yeah.
He's in a fucking awesome band. Like, that band, when we saw them at the warehouse party, was legit and awesome. And now he's building an app and then sold it. Like, that guy fucking rules.
Yeah. He's also the worst person too, though. He's
also has no spine and a coward.
I don't know how he can stand up straight.
Yeah, he's a worm. He's an earthworm, dude.
When he tries to throw a needle. Well, of course, Marnie hears this news, and who knows where she's walking with him to? But she's like, I gotta go.
Yep.
So she just goes directly to Charlie's office. Like, really? You just found out this news? You're not gonna look on your phone and see the internet and try to Google it or see what's happening?
I feel like she probably did that off screen. She probably looked it up and was reading about it on her way to the office.
The social media stalk was definitely
for
happening
sure.
There. Yeah.
For sure.
Before you just walk into an office.
Yeah.
But she goes.
So
yeah, you got it.
You go for it.
Well, she goes to his office and she's just she walks in and she's like, office building. This is crazy. I've never been in an office.
Peering around creepily, whoa, what is this world?
And you know what's funny? They have her and it's perfectly done as a costume and wardrobe. She's not dressed up as she's normally. Nope. She's basically in like a shirt and jeans. She kind of looks dressed down compared to everyone else is just like work casual, you know, like tucked in button downs and the khakis and doctors and stuff. But like she looks like she doesn't fit in at all in this like like she
her hair's like not done. Yeah. Doesn't look like she's wearing much makeup. She's wearing.
You would think she'd get a little. You would think Marnie would take a minute. Get a little.
Wow, is this Vance's fashion corner?
No,
what's
I'm
going
just saying.
On?
Marnie likes.
Am I rubbing off on you, bud?
Marnie likes. No, this is like it works for like the scene. Marnie normally gets dressed up to try to manipulate Charlie, but this one she was like, I can't even wait. I have to get there. I have to see this. And he's doing like generic business stuff.
Just dude, the shit that he's saying to people is so cringeworthy.
One of the worst examples of this was in the movie The Breakup with Jennifer Aniston and
Vince Vaughn.
At the end of that movie, like she's walking down the street just giving business jargon on the cell phone. Like she's on the cell phone just talking. Oh, sell that, no buy. Replace that and have the meeting move from 3 to like just so much generic stuff.
Charlie goes up to some random woman and he's like, hey, did you close the deal on that Roseburg proposal? And the girl looks at him. He's like, just kidding. There is no Roseburg proposal. You're such a good employee, though. It's like, God.
It was so bad.
Awful. Awful.
And he's just walking around the office like, I run the office. Like, he has nothing to do. He's like literally just walking around. And then Marnie just goes, hey, Charlie. And he turns back and he's like, oh, you're here.
He's like, what the fuck are you doing here? And he's like, oh, hey, Marnie. She's like, wow, this is so crazy. Like, you built this app and like you have this cool office and like you must have got like a buttload of money for it. And he's like, yeah, I mean, I got a pretty good amount of money and like it's going really well and we're trying to build more apps that are like it. And then Marnie's like, so can you tell me what this app is? I'm a little out of the loop. And so
as she should be.
Yeah, right? You didn't read what the app does.
You just showed up.
You just stalk a human.
Yeah. Just
God, dude.
Marnie.
So Charlie explains to her that the app is called Forbid.
Unforbid. And
what it does.
Is it Unforbid? Or is it Forbid?
It's just Forbid.
Maybe. Yeah, whatever.
I think Forbid would make more sense, right?
Yeah.
Because of what it does. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Well, who cares? It's a fake app.
Call it. Yeah, it's. For the sake of it, you want to just say Forbid?
Yeah. Who cares? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll never see Charlie again.
It'll so go the app is up in the next episode.
Yeah, he'll be dating Shoshanna in the next episode or some shit. And then they'll be 35, and then the next episode they'll be back to 24. The app is called Forbid, and what it does is it blocks you from calling people that you shouldn't call, like an ex-girlfriend, a former boss, etc. But if you do want to call them, you have to pay $10 in order to get through like the firewall, I guess. Yeah. I think that's actually a pretty great app idea.
There are apps like that, and there's like the Freedom app for your computer where like if you can just turn it on and it blocks you from certain websites so you can get work done and not procrastinate and stuff like that. It's interesting that the business model for his thing is we make money when you fuck up.
Yeah. That's true.
Like the whole model is like, oh, we stop you from calling, but we know you're going to call.
Yeah, if you call, you're just making my pockets, you're just lining my pockets, baby.
It's like funding nicotine patches and cigarettes, you know? Like you're like, all right. Like,
yeah.
When you want to quit the cigarette now, you can buy the nicotine patches. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's whatever, it's business. And
yeah.
I guess a lot of people are making forbidden phone calls because they're doing well.
Yeah. So Marnie's kind of like, oh, wow, that's actually a pretty good app idea. That's pretty cool. And he's like, yeah, you inspired it. You know that, right? And I was like, of course, everybody knows that. As soon as you told me what it does, I knew that. And she's like, wait, what? I inspired it. Marnie has taken such a tumble in the likeness ratings for me.
I thought she was going to try to be like, oh, I inspired it. I guess I should get a cut of it.
Well, that would be a Marnie thing to do.
That would be a Hannah thing to do. Hannah would ask for a cut. But she would have rambled in like a funny way, but like, well, because of this, you'd have to get me,
Yeah.
She would have been pretty more candid about her reasoning.
Yeah. But so yeah, she's like, that's a pretty good idea, and he's like, yeah, you inspired it because after our breakup, I had a rough time not calling you, and if I wanted to, I would have to pay like some kind of punishment. And she's like, oh, crazy. And then somebody like randomly interrupts him with some business bullshit.
Hey, I got those mock-ups that you want.
Hey, you got to do this video. And he's like, hey, sorry, got it. Oh, but before all that, he's like, so what are you doing here? Do you want money? Do you need money or something?
Yeah, he
like,
kind of says those like money things underneath, like not directly to her, but she never responds to him. And they kind of keep the conversation going. So even when he does that, I thought it would be like, oh, she'll have to like deny it and then make up an excuse for why she randomly showed up to a company she knows nothing about in the middle of the day.
Exactly. But I'm happy for Charlie here.
Sure,
like he's still a worm. He's still a worm. He showed a little bit of spine in this, but I don't know, man. He's just like such a.
You are winning.
Yeah.
Act like you won. Like,
that goes in perfectly with the next scene, which is where Marnie comes home from her job as a hostess.
Well, we see Ray on the bed, like reading something. What was he reading? I don't know what he was reading. Reading something, feet up, like
in his boxers.
And he's got Haribo frogs, those like gummy frogs. And the door opens and someone comes in, and I'm like, oh, Shoshanna's coming in. What is her excuse going to be for? Yeah. What she? I feel like I thought it was going to be like a whole like panic and mission of like hooking up with the doorman thing or like really awkwardness. And then no, it's Marnie.
Marnie coming back from her job as a hostess.
I still don't understand this apartment. Nope. Is it a studio? She walks in and I think she's coming in the front door and the bed is right there. Where are they all sleeping? Like, I'm so confused by the apartment.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
It's just one room with a mattress. They're all living. Anyway, she comes on and she's coming in from work too. Because she's dressed in her work overalls.
Her work attire.
And she
which I still think is a really good look. She looks good in that.
Well, she starts to ask how the party was for Ray or what happened or something.
I think she asked where Shoshanna is. She's at some party.
And before he can even like finish his sentence, she just dives right into her issue with Charlie.
Yep. And so she's basically like, why does Charlie get to be happy? He's a loser. He's so sad. And like, why is life working out for him? Because he doesn't have his...
She said one of the worst things in this episode. She was like, I had him on a 6-year trajectory of depression or something. You know, like...
Yeah. She was like, I broke up with him and I was expecting him to just be sad and depressed. And I
budgeted 6 years of brokenness for Charlie. God. I'm like, geez.
Yeah. Like, really? How good do you think you are?
Like, 6 years? Like...
This whole rant, that she goes on is the most unlikable rant I've ever heard. Because she's like, Charlie's a sad loser, and why does he get to be happy and have all this money and like have his shit together? Like, he doesn't have his shit together. I'm the person that has their shit together, and I'm awesome, and I rule, and it sucks that he's a loser and he gets to be happy with money and stuff. I was like, what are you talking?
But Charlie was never like a loser bum. Like, she's talking to Ray.
Yeah. Like, I didn't put that together. Like, Ray's a bigger loser than anybody.
How was Charlie ever a loser? Like, he was dating you for a long time. He apparently has a job and aspirations. He never was like bumming around.
Yeah, like, he built his apartment.
Yeah, you just like stopped loving him, and he was a little spineless and not aggressive, and like, that's the only difference. He wasn't like, he didn't have his life together. Like, you saw his apartment the first time. It looked great. Like,
I didn't think about how she's saying that to Ray, who is currently homeless.
Yeah. As you two share a room.
God.
But yeah, it's just like, and it says a lot when Marnie can like say something so damning and dislikable in a show like this that has a lot of those moments.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what, Marnie? Like, I get being a little jealous and taken back by like someone else's success at times, but like the way she's doing it, she seems as though he had no potential whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when she saw his band, she was shocked that they were good that one time afterwards. She was shocked that he was dating Audrey like 2 weeks after. Like
she was shocked that he built his own apartment. She was like, wow, you built all this?
Yeah. And I'm just like, what, do you not know him?
Like, what did you see in him to date him for 4 years if you think he's just like such a loser?
Yeah, what was your plan to like be successful and break out with him?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Dude, she's a fucking asshole.
I still don't get what Marnie wants. And Ray asked her this, and we get to this point, which is hilarious. But
yeah, Ray's basically like, well, you know, Charlie basically found out something that he's good at, and he cashed in on it. Like, what do you like? And that's something he's passionate about. It's like, if you want to be fulfilled in life, you need to find something that you're passionate about, because you can't do this hostess shit forever. Yeah. It's like, so what do you want to do? Like, what would be your dream? And she's like, I don't know. And he's like, no, fucking tell me right now what your dream is. Don't think about it. Just say it. She's like, just say it right now. He's like, yeah. And she's like, okay, I want to be a singer. And he's like, pick another one.
Which I thought was the right response there.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, seriously, I want to be a singer. Which I'm like, when did this? I mean,
well, she talked about being a singer to Elijah, and Elijah kind of shit on her voice.
Yeah. But it didn't seem like it was something she had ever. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't know how she got into art curating, but yeah.
So Ray is like, okay, you want to be a singer, whatever. You have to sing. Like, so fucking prove to me that you can be a singer. Like, sing right now. And she's like, okay. And then she sings, and honestly, she sounds pretty good.
Yeah, she sings Norah Jones. Sings a Norah Jones song, and like she's singing. I'm like, all right, she's not.
She's not bad.
Not bad, especially to just come out and sing like when someone just asks you to sing like right away. Like,
yeah, one-on-one. That's so awkward.
Just impromptu. Like, yeah.
So, and this is a great Ray line. Mm-hmm. So about a couple bars in, he's like, okay, you can stop. Mm-hmm. This was getting a little bit too intimate for me. Yeah. But I will admit that your voice is very nice. Yeah. And she's like, yeah, okay. And he's like, so why aren't you pursuing this? You need to pursue this now. Like, you're not getting any younger. You need to do this right now. And then she starts singing again. And he's like, no, I didn't mean like, right, you sing right now. Like, I mean, you need to take hold of your career and shit.
Yeah. And again, this is coming from Ray, who doesn't know what he wants.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of people like that in life.
Oh, yeah.
Who don't have their shit together, but they give like really good advice.
I feel like I give great advice.
I feel like I give great advice.
Yeah, we don't have our shit together at all.
I don't have anything together, dude.
So, take our advice, don't live our life.
I was talking to my friend earlier today, before this episode, and I basically gave her the same talk that Ray gave Marnie, because she was talking about how she wanted to make a documentary about something, and I was like, well, fucking do it. Yeah. Yep. I don't know. It was a good scene, and I liked that. I liked her singing. I liked Ray, and I'm looking forward to seeing her try to navigate the waters of being a singer.
I am not looking forward to that. That's the thing I was going to say. I'm not looking forward to this trajectory of Marnie being in a creative field, the same as Hannah, and them just dealing with like
and Booth Jonathan
rejection.
Where's Booth Jonathan?
They broke up.
Are they still together?
No,
they broke up.
Yeah, dude.
When?
At the party. The wine cellar. They broke up.
Oh, right. That's because she found out that he was like hooking up with a bunch of other people, right?
But he hated her because she was just using him for a celebrity.
Oh, right. I forgot. I completely forgot about that.
Why are you bringing up Booth Jonathan? He's nothing to do with this right now.
I don't know. I just want to bring up my guy, Booth Jonathan.
All right.
Fucking weirdo.
All right, let's move on to Hannah. This thing is getting
onward to Hannah. This is a long episode.
Yeah, let's see if we can wrap up Hannah in 15 minutes.
Yeah, let's try and wrap up Hannah.
10 minutes.
Let's try to not tell her story 8 times, but
I'll let you bomb. I'll let you bomb.
See, I didn't bomb because I gave myself the drum. But
you did that in a previous episode too, and I just let it happen.
Yeah, baby. You can take the lead on this one. I'm running out of energy.
Okay.
I'm so hungry right now.
Well, speaking of hungry, did you enjoy her stuffing chips in her face?
No.
Yes. So we see Hannah. She's walking down the street. She looks really anxious and nervous. I'm like, coming off the last episode, we saw her, and it was just abandoned her. So like, there's not a big. It wasn't like a carryover from that. But she's walking down the street. She looks super weird, and she's like looking over her shoulder like 8 times, and then she's about to go into a deli, and she like has to do something 8 times before she goes in. I'm like, and then it hits me that she's suffering from some type of OCD.
Yeah, she opens the door to her apartment 8 times.
Yeah, then she counts out 8 chips out of the bag, and then she shoves all 8 of them in her mouth.
Chews 8 times.
Yeah. And that kind of takes us into the title, and we're like, okay,
it's back,
meaning her OCD that she's had before.
Yeah, and I don't know much about what happens later on in the series of Girls, but this is where I heard it takes a downturn. As soon as Hannah starts dealing with her OCD, the people that I know that have watched this show were like, this is where shit gets bad.
Like bad, like serious, or bad like
it's not an enjoyable show to watch anymore.
Oh yeah, watching Hannah going through her own issues without having a diagnosed medical problem was one thing, but now that she has OCD and a mental issue that needs medication, it does something about, you can't just enjoy her being weird, like it's like if you're watching It's Always Sunny and then you find out they're all been diagnosed with like schizophrenia, then it's not as fun to watch them do the weird stuff. Yeah. Because then they're just that like, hey, they actually need help. You shouldn't be laughing at the weirdness. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like if Adam was a drunk and we found out about it. We're like, oh, now that's why he's doing all the stuff before. It kind of undercuts the craziness. But I don't know. We'll see what happens from this. But we find out that Hannah's parents are in town.
Like, how often do her parents come to town?
I don't know.
They're from Michigan.
Yeah, last time we saw them was in the last episode. When she calls them, and they were like, "Oh my God, Hannah, stop calling!" Like, she frustrates her parents to no end.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if you had a daughter like Hannah,
oh my God,
you'd be frustrated.
Yeah. But they see her. She comes in. They, she meets up with them outside of their hotel. Oh no, you know what? They mentioned coming to town last time because they were wondering in the last episode. They were wondering what hotel they should stay in, and he was talking about like. So yeah, they actually kind of segued that they were coming into town at some point.
Okay, dad was on I can handle this then.
Yeah. Now it's palatable for you now.
Yeah, because I was like, what? Well, it's how often do they come to town? Because they're in Michigan. That's like a flight. That's not a drive.
It's a flight. No, from Michigan. No way.
I don't know. Maybe it's closer than we think.
No,
maybe
they're flying. They're not driving. They're flying.
Okay. All right.
She took a trash bag home. Bag home.
That's true.
But anyway, her parents are in town. I guess they're going to some show with Judy Carlisle. Is that a real person?
I don't know.
Yeah, I just wrote the name.
Seemed like a real person.
Yeah. So they see her instantly and know that like something's up with her. Obviously, Hannah doesn't want to admit to it, and she's stressed out because she has her book. It's really kind of the book thing. Adam calls her when she's walking on the street the first time, so that kind of adds to the.
Well, when Adam called her, that's where it seemed like it triggered. But we don't see her if she was dealing with it before this call, but we see the call, and then that's when she starts looking over her shoulder 8 times.
Yeah, I think that was the tipping point. I think the writing the book was what was setting it off, because she looked anxious when she was walking before the call, and then the call came, and it like just tipped her over, I think. Yeah. But yeah, so the parents are like, they go to this dinner / show, where Judy Carlisle is like performing and singing a song. But before she starts singing, they're talking about, hey, we think this is a problem. She's like, it's not a problem. Hannah thinks she's holding it together. They're looking at her. She's tapping herself. They're like, no, you're not.
Her mom is like, you're doing the counting thing again.
Yeah.
And Hannah's like, no, I'm not. And mom's like, yeah, you are. You're really trying to hide this from us. Yeah. But like, it's fine. Like, if you have it, we can help you. We need to get you help.
Yeah.
But if you're, and then she's like, well, I don't need to hide anything from you because there's nothing to hide because I don't have it and I'm fine.
Yeah. It was so funny to see the mom like, we never raised a hand to you, like trying to figure out why this happened. I'm like, I don't know if this happens to like super bad childhoods all the time. Like I don't know medical. I don't know how OCD and how all this stuff manifests itself.
Well, Hannah says that it's like a genetic thing, so she's like, that's the ultimate, you did it to me. It's like, wow, what a fucking asshole, dude.
I know. Classic Hannah.
God.
Asshole. So yeah, they talk. So they're doing. The musician starts playing. They're listening. The parents are looking at her. She's looking back. She gets a little, like, I guess it's just too much for her again.
Yeah, I guess she's just feeling anxious about being around her parents and having to hide, and she knows that she's unraveling and being like, oh god, I can't hold it together. Like, my parents know the jig is up.
It is perfect timing for her parents to be in town. Like, it'd be interesting to see Jessa deal with this. Like, if this was happening in an apartment, what would Jessa do? Would she start like lining up 8 shots and see what happened? Like, like, I don't know how Marnie would handle this. I think Ray would be the only one equipped to handle this.
Yeah. Dude, Ray, what a guy.
What a character.
What a guy, man.
Cucked.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, his Shoshanna relationship was never going to last. She's so much younger. She got her whole life ahead of you.
I know, but I like Ray.
Yeah.
He seems to have like a good head on his shoulders.
He'll hook up with Natalia soon.
Oh, that'd be dope. That'd be crazy.
Just a love triangle between Adam and Natalia and Ray. So anyway, she gets up. Hannah gets up, and she like starts to walk out. She bumps into someone. She has to bump into him 8 times. He's like, "Oh, you bumped into me like 5 times." She's like, it was 8."
And then she just storms off.
And she's walking out, and this seemed like it seemed like something that could have been in Hannah's head, but it was so weird for the musician to go, "Hey, where are you going?" Like, during the song.
Yeah, I think I was writing at that time, like writing down a note.
Yeah.
And I didn't look up to see, but I didn't know if that was the musician or if it was her mom.
No, it was the musician. Like, she literally breaks in the song and goes, "Hey, where are you going?" And Hannah just looks at her, and you're thinking Hannah's going to say something, and she just storms out. And I was like, I've seen comics do that a ton.
Yeah, like, musicians would never do that.
Getting up during a stand-up routine, like, you're asking to be like made fun of as you walk past out. Like, it happens at times, sometimes it doesn't, but like, that's more what I'm used to. But I'm not used to a musician playing a song and stopping to be like, "Where are you going?" Where people will be coming and going the whole time.
Yeah, it's like a dinner and a show. Yeah. There's like waiters and all kinds of people moving.
Like, people are going to get up and go to the bathroom. Like, no one's going to be like glued. It's not I don't know.
Yeah, people got to go to the potty, man.
Yeah, or just like step out, have a cigarette, like, I don't know, make a phone call, like anything.
Yeah.
But that was weird to me. I wasn't sure. It seemed like,
I don't know.
But
I have no idea.
But then she's in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And she's
staring herself in the mirror,
and she keeps saying, "You're all right." What is she saying? Do you remember?
She's saying something like, "You're all good. Everything's all right. You're all good. Everything's all right." She says it 8 times, and then she reverses it. She was like, "Everything's all right. You're all good." Says that 8 times, and then you kind of get the like, yeah, this is definitely, she's not holding it together anymore at all.
Yeah.
And her parents basically are like, "Hey, we know that this isn't good.
Yeah.
We're going to take you to get some help."
Yeah. So I think the next time we see them, they're like in a waiting room Is it the same? Like, is it the next day at this point? It has to be, right?
It's the next day. She's wearing a different outfit.
Okay, yeah. They're in the waiting room to meet with a therapist. And they're talking about, we'll go to Serendipity after this restaurant in New York. I had a couple friends that worked there.
Yeah.
And
Dad gets in a fucking burn.
Well, she makes a joke
scene.
like, "Oh, I'm not hungry. Oh my God, I might be anorexic," and she's saying it like sarcastically.
Yeah, because she's still in denial that she needs help, and
Yeah, she's trying to rib her parents for like, "Oh, you don't need to take me here. Oh, I guess I'm not hungry. Oh, I guess I'm anorexic." And the dad is like, "No, you're not anorexic.
No, you're not anorexic. I've seen you in a bathing suit." I was like, "Damn, Dad."
And then the
Holy
mom's
shit.
like, she was being sarcastic or facetious or something.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And the
that's
dad's just like,
that's the
"Oh, I
reason."
don't know. I didn't know." That was so brutal.
I could see the mom saying it like very quickly, but like he took time to think about it.
Yeah.
Like he was like, "Wait, is she anorexic? No, I've seen you in a bathing suit." Or we saw you eat dinner like recently.
Yeah.
But then she goes in with the therapist, who's played by Bob Balaban, I believe that's the actor.
I have no idea.
It's been in a ton of things.
He
From
seems like he'd be
Seinfeld,
always playing a therapist,
I think
though.
he's in a lot of the Christopher Guest movies.
Okay.
So he's all around. And they're talking about what's the first thing they talk about? She's still kind of denying that she has.
She's
an
like,
issue.
she goes through her history with OCD, like when she was in high school. She had to do everything 8 times, and
we get a callback to the episode where her and Marnie had the big fight, and she mentions her masturbating 8 times thing.
Yeah.
So this seed was planted already about her having OCD issues.
Yeah. She talks about how she had to masturbate 8 times until her legs were weak. She had to check her parents' room to see check her room to see that nobody heard her 8 times, then check her parents' room 8 times, then go to the bathroom and like move her toothbrush 8 times, her parents' toothbrush 8 times, 64 times for other things. And I was like, holy fuck, that's
OCD
a lot.
Is
debilitating.
And like having it like that serious, not like, oh, there's something askew on my desk and I just want to turn it so that it's not askew.
Yeah.
That's like, but it's not going to drive me insane to see it. It's like, but to have to do that, like you're trapped in your own like mentality with that. So it's not a fun thing to. It's not a fun thing to have to watch, except for I think that show Monk made it kind of fun.
Yeah.
I never really watched Monk, but I know he's like an OCD detective. So,
I never watched Monk either, but didn't it win a bunch of Emmys?
Oh man, it was like killing it in awards and stuff.
Yeah.
It was a big show for them.
So she's basically telling the therapist her story about her history with OCD, and he's like, "Well, what do you think could have triggered it?" And she's like, "Well, I have this book deal. I went through a breakup recently." And he's like, "What do you think that the breakup might have been playing a part?" And she's like, "Probably a little bit, but I think it's more the book deal." And then she says something like, "You wouldn't understand my problems."
Yeah, he's like, a book deal. That's a big one. Like writing a book's a big deal, you know. And then she, being Hannah, goes, "Have you ever written a book?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, was it like a medical, like just kind of undercutting his achievement of writing a book, trying to be like, oh, you just wrote some dumb medical thing. Even if he did, that's fine." And he's like, "No, it's a story about this like
a boy and his bionic dog who goes on adventures and he saves the world from destruction every time."
How badly did you want to read that? I was like, I want to check this out.
I'd read that way quicker than I'd read Hannah's fucking ebook.
What is her ebook about? Who
knows?
Being in Brooklyn?
I guess. It's probably just a script to this show.
Yeah. But yeah, Hannah, and then he's like, "Oh, I sold like 2.5 million copies."
She's like, "Oh yeah, how many people fucking have read that?" And he's like, "I think we've done like 2.5 million copies."
Yeah.
And it's just like, Hannah's so defeated at this point because she's like trying to discredit this guy and he's got his shit together and she can't do it. So she's just like, I will do literally anything that you tell me to do as long as you tell my parents I'm okay.
Yeah.
And then we see them in the subway.
Yeah.
And he did not heed her.
And she's holding a prescription from like Dwayne Reed or one of those stores.
Yeah.
Like she's got a prescription with her.
Yeah, so the therapist definitely didn't tell her parents that she's okay.
Yeah, she needs to be on medication. And she should want medication. Like,
yeah, I don't know why she's like
she said it makes me tired. She says it made her tired.
Well, dude, you know what else makes you tired? Fucking staying up till 3 a.m. counting everything.
Yeah, masturbating 8 times at night and then having to count
I don't know why. I don't know why she doesn't see that this is a problem because she details how horrible it was for her to have OCD in the past and how debilitating it was. But the only thing that the only complication for taking medication to stop this is that she's tired. It's like, you're going to be tired anyway.
Well, they kind of deal with the depression thing in BoJack Horseman. And slight spoiler stuff, but not too spoilery for the season. But but Diane has depression and she's writing something and she's afraid that if she gets on antidepressants that she won't have the creative energy and that she's going to gain weight, so she has like her reasoning besides like, I'll just be tired. Like she doesn't want her defeating her. She thinks her depression is fueling her creativity. Which Hannah doesn't. But Hannah doesn't bring that up. Like Hannah doesn't seem like she's worried about medication doing. I think
with Hannah, my theory is it's more of an admission that something's wrong, and she doesn't want to admit that something's wrong.
I can see that.
Like once you admit it, that makes it real.
Yeah,
and it's like the opposite of what Adam.
Real. Yeah, it is the opposite. I don't think
it's the opposite of Adam.
Adam probably only had like 2 beers and thought, "Oh man, I like this," and checked himself into rehab. Or even AA. Or
even
maybe
like it seems like he may have not even drank at all, but he's like, I feel like the want coming in and I need help and I need to go do this.
Yeah.
Whereas Hannah's just in denial. Even when she has the prescription and her dad's looking at her like concerned, which is something to be concerned about.
Yeah.
She's like, I hate when you look at me all concerned. And he's just like, dude, I'm sorry, but I fucking love you, I guess, God damn, dude.
Yeah,
what
and that's how the episode
brat.
ends. The episode ends with her saying that line. And when these episodes end like that, I don't know how we're supposed to feel. Like, the whole time, I'm like, I can kind of feel bad for Hannah. Like, she's dealing with some real issue. And then she says that, and you're just like, come on, man. Like,
yeah, dude.
Why you got to be a jerk?
Exactly. It's like nobody understands how big of a jerk they're being in this show. No one apologizes for anything. No one admits that they're wrong.
Yeah.
Except for Adam and possibly Ray.
Yeah. And we'll see what happens with Shoshanna after when the next time we see her, Ray, in the finale.
There's 2 episodes. This is what it is. There's no accountability from any of these girl characters. I can't think of an instance where there's accountability. Like Jessa just runs away. Marnie sees her ex-boyfriend doing well and she's still like, he's a loser and I'm the winner.
Yeah.
Hannah's in denial about her OCD and Shoshanna hasn't been around enough for me to like really make a thing about it. So like,
well, we'll see what happens. Like she's made a decision now that we got to see how she rectifies it.
I think this show is accurately titled Girls because they're babies. They're girls. They're not women. Like real adult women don't do shit like this.
Yeah, I mean, and they're also like in their early to mid 20s, so the mistakes will happen.
I do, and I will give credit to it being like a coming of age story.
Yeah.
And like they're learning lessons, but like watching the lessons being learned is so dreadful and I hate it.
Well, it will be interesting to see if any of them like pay off at the end of the series.
Yeah. Hopefully.
I gotta say, when the episode opened and I realized Hannah was gonna have this like when she was starting to do the twitchiness, and I was like, oh man, I don't know if I'm on board with this. The way I was like, this is going to be uncomfortable to watch her act like that, you know? Like, it's tough. Yeah. It's not easy to just pull off like mental illness and like physical acting of that sort. So, I mean, it's done well enough. It's simplified. It's not, she's not, does she stutter at all or she says something? Like, there's some stuff, but it's okay. It's handled as tactfully as they could handle anything in the show.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know enough about OCD to say that.
Oh yeah, but
like,
I just
maybe
feel like,
someone with.
I feel like if you don't know anything about it, it's handled in a way where you're not blindly offended by it. Like you could be offended by like looking at something that is like, of course they might not have tackled it accurately, 100%. And you could probably have gripes here and there, but they tackled it in a way where you're like, okay, I can understand how this could be an issue for someone without it being like they just made fun of OCD people in a bad way. Yeah. You know, it's not distasteful in any way. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that wraps up the episode.
Yeah.
Got any final thoughts before we wrap this bad boy up?
No, I'm just interested to see where we go.
Yeah, me too.
Hit us off with our favorite segment.
The likability rankings?
No, we're not. This is long enough. We'll save that for the finale.
All right. Next episode 19, season 2, episode 9, titled On All Fours.
I don't even. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Here comes a horrible guess as usual. I'm going to say this is Shoshanna just going wild with the doorman.
Oh, or is it Shoshanna on all fours begging for forgiveness?
Do people beg for forgiveness on all fours?
Yeah, if you're bowing down to somebody.
Well, if you're on your knees, your hands are up and you're begging class, so you're on 2.
Maybe it's Hannah on all fours twice because it's 8.
That's the best prediction that you've ever given. That's it. That's what it's going to be.
All right, everybody. That does it for episode 8. It's back. Please tune in next time for On All Fours. We'll find out what that means. All right. See ya.
Now is the time. If you want to sing, then you should sing now. Right now.
My heart is...
Not at this moment, right now. I mean, like, in general, this is something...
Be more fucking specific.
Yeah, I thought it was obvious.